If your attic can't breathe, your house won't last.
Moving forward with the Dekker team. Moving forward together with the Dekker team.
We're thrilled, actually, that 746 Life's Inside Track episodes where we get to share insider tips, making house, home, and building wealth wisely through real estate. And they're free to you. You can get access to them pretty much anywhere you want. Go on over to the Dekker Team YouTube channel and subscribe so you can not only listen, you can watch. Roofs, attics, shingles, insulation, venting. This is the second piece of what we don't really want to spend money on. We'd rather put in a new kitchen, let's be real.
Yes. And, shingles are, one of those expenses that if you sell a house with 15-year-old shingles that are in great shape or
1-year-old shingles,
or 1-year-old shingles, you don't get much difference in value.
No.
So we tend to hate putting money in there. And yet there's ways of extending the life of your shingles significantly.
And one of them, it's our favorite, every year. And maybe you can go 2 years. I wouldn't. Every single year, we have a roofing contractor come and just walk our roof and see if there is any shingles that are missing tabs or they're architectural shingles, so they have a longer lifespan. Take a look and see, is there anything that needs replacing? Is there anything that needs to be fixed up?
Yeah.
Because if I often hear people say that they're going to spend money on shingles before they really need replacing. The downside to that is you're just using up your next set of shingles quicker, sooner, faster.
Yeah.
So there's not really any benefit as long as they're being well maintained.
Yeah, some people change shingles because they just don't look that nice. But it's not about the look. Yes, if they're curling up really badly, then they're way beyond their life.
Yeah, they're beyond their life expectancy.
That's different.
Let's get them off there.
But roof color changes, it stains, it gets areas where it maybe stays moist more, it gets some mildew or something growing on it.
So a great idea is to try not to have trees directly overhead. You want to try and keep your shingles available to not be consumed by shade or shadow.
Yes, or scratched by the tree limbs in the wind.
Right.
It's unbelievable how quick they will wear. Or even if you have one roof pouring onto another roof, if you don't have something to protect those shingles where it pours on, they will prematurely wear. And, so back to getting our contractor up on the roof, the beauty is sometimes there's a blown off tab. Sometimes recently we had all our ridge pieces replaced because they were wearing. That was the only part that was wearing through was the ridge cap. So we had the entire ridge cap replaced. And then we had an area, we were getting ice damming that was causing ice on the sidewalk, but it wasn't backing into the house.
Which was a beautiful thing.
And what we discovered was that small attic area over the master bedroom didn't have a vent at all. So he installed a ridge vent, and then he took those, I don't know if you're familiar with we call them mushroom caps, the short vents. They're not near as good as the tall max vents. They look like a little house with some vents around the top. The beauty is they're above the snow, so they don't get covered.
Yeah, usually they do. Even in Ottawa winters, even this past winter, the tall vents did not get covered. And newer homes tend to have the taller vents. They're not as pretty. They're kind of ugly, if you ask me. I like the look of little mushroom vents. However, you're losing so much efficiency. So again, you got to go to work more to pay for the extra heating costs or cooling costs, as the case may be. But also, you're potentially doing damage right inside your attic. Like this is just because it's out of sight, and maybe even out of mind. It doesn't mean it isn't destroying your home from the inside out.
Yeah.
Which is ugly.
Yes. Well, I've been up in attics where there's mold and rot in the plywood and that kind of stuff because it's had too much moisture up there. you weren't allowing enough ventilation. Either the soffits were plugged,
Right.
which is where the air's got to come in, and then it goes up out the top vent. Now, these max vents, the beauty is they have a higher draw because they're taller. They draw more air up. Now, what you don't want to do is just change a couple, because it will
Bad idea.
It will steal the air from the other lower vents. So if you're going to change your vents, change them all. And we did that this last fall, and it made a huge difference on that ice dam.
We didn't have the
spot.
ice dam.
No.
And we've been struggling with that only for 11 years. Like, let's rat ourselves out. We had somebody look at the roof every day, but we never said,
every year. Not every day.
Every year. We never said, felt like every day. Anyway, every year, we never said, talk to me about the ventilation system, because when the house was built, that was kind of standard. And even now, we still see some new construction because it's more attractive looking.
And less costly.
And less costly to install initially. And yet the long-term implications are huge. So you specifically want to have somebody over to do, just like we said, a caulking assessment and an air leak assessment. Have someone over to do an assessment on your insulation, on where it's sitting inside your attic, on your airflow. One of the things we see when we're out doing building inspections is sometimes bathroom fans and other things that should be vented right out are vented into the attic space and not then dumped into the eave. They're just sitting there throwing moisture all over the attic and creating a beautiful mold party.
Yep. Now, the other thing we've seen is even in your parents, like we see a lot more metal roofs going up.
Which are better, right? Because they last so long. I mean, my son lives in an older farmhouse, and that roof has to be 100 years old, the metal, and it's still holding up. So that's the beauty of metal. A good quality metal will last probably your lifetime and then some. Certainly your duration in the house. The cost is a little higher, or quite a bit higher. However, it lasts forever, and it doesn't leak, right?
Yeah.
Not true.
Yeah. Still get ice damming, because whoever installed their steel roof, it's the type that layers on top of one another so that it gives you a very nice architectural look. The problem is not enough venting, and they're getting ice damming. And this year, their new addition on their house they built 5 years ago or so, I don't remember, maybe a little more. Leaks everywhere,
everywhere in 3 spots. And that's a big deal. Major damage. And so it's not just the type of shingles or the type of roofing, whether you have a flat roof, whether you have a high pitch roof, whether you have low pitch roof, whether you have vaulted ceilings. There's greater risk when you have vaulted ceilings because you don't have enough, there's not as much airflow. Whether a room is over a garage or not over a garage, whether you have changing roof lines. There are many, many factors. And so you actually want a professional in that understands not only how to replace shingles, but how to address the airflow conversation.
Because a roof in questionable condition is one of the fastest ways to lose a buyer or lose money. By triggering renegotiation
if you're selling
after an inspection, if you're selling.
It's insane.
Yeah. So Ayn Reed said, you can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality.
In the next segment, we're going to look at, if your roof protects you from above, what it is that gets you from down below. And we are pretty thrilled that we get to clarify your options, because as we do, your
clarity will
flow.
Moving forward with the Dekker team. Moving forward.